Yes. Okay. So,
Yeah.
welcome back to Over the Line. This is episode 4. We will be recapping week 3 of the NFL. We're recording this on Saturday morning, so we're a little bit delayed. Hopefully, we get this out to you guys in time before the game starts. A little bit of a quick turnaround here, but it was an interesting week for the 3 teams of this podcast. It started out with the Thursday game. Giants at the Niners. Niners get the win 30-12. I can't imagine you had too much hope going into this game, seeing as what they've done to every other team so far,
No.
including mine. I mean, I can't really sugarcoat it. It was pretty much a beatdown on PrimeTime. What were your thoughts about this game?
Yep. Yeah, it was exactly what I kind of expected. The only thing some of the things I thought interesting, Brock Purdy, here's my takeaway from the game is that Brock Purdy is an extremely average quarterback in a
Really?
system that just I think could be good for any quarterback in there. Yeah, he just was like dump it off to Debo or McCaffrey and just let them run for 60 yards after the catch. I mean, the
It's a good
yards after the catch,
strategy.
the tackling for the Giants was right. It's
Yeah,
like
it's a good
but the
strategy.
tackling from the Giants was fucking brutal. But if you look at like the yards after the catch that game, it was pretty much all of his skill players doing the work. And I'm sitting there like San Francisco has an insane defense, and they are loaded with skill position guys.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty much like you get it to them, and they're going to do the rest. And they absolutely fucking annihilated the Giants on the line, like I definitely thought they would. Graham Gano continues to be the Giants' best player, just ripping 57-yard field goals like it's nothing. Probably could have made that from 80. Uh,
I mean, you guys had
he's the
no
best
run
guy on
game.
that team.
Without Saquon, I mean, the
No,
inability to run the
no,
ball is going to absolutely kill you. I don't know how serious his ankle injury is. It
yeah,
a sprain or I'm not sure. He's day to day, right?
yeah, this spring.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
they're teasing that he could play this week.
what's the point?
I can't imagine he does. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
I
imagine he
mean,
does.
if you're Saquon,
But
why risk it for this week? Obviously, it's not like you're going to sit him for 5-6 weeks or whatever. But there's no need to rush
yeah,
back when you know. Who do you guys have this week? You guys have
yeah, Seattle
Seattle.
Monday night, another
Another
primetime game for
prime
you guys.
time game for the Giants. So we'll preview that a little bit later. But this was one of those Daniel Jones
Yeah,
games where the haters were aplenty after this one. But I don't think this really was any fault of his own. We've talked about this
no,
before when my team got absolutely demolished by the Niners. They're a very, very legit defense. And then, like we just said, without the run game, you're forcing Danny to throw the ball, like 35 times. You're trying to supplement the run
yeah.
game with the short passing game. And I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like you guys have the skill players to kind of pull that type of thing off. And it just, from start to finish, this wasn't, I don't think it was even close in any aspect of this
No,
game, just because the 49ers kind of they controlled the clock, they controlled the field
yeah.
position. I mean, it really
Oh,
was full control by the Niners.
I don't have the time of possession stat on me right here, but if you were to find it, it was like I want to say 40-20 San
Yeah,
Francisco.
that sounds pretty
And
close. Yeah,
they're maybe keep on the ball, but
yeah. It was it
yeah,
was
it
it was 40-20.
was yeah, so 40-20 and it felt like that the entire game. Like I don't remember the Giants having the ball. I just like, you know what I mean? Like
Right?
it's one of those
Yeah,
games where I don't remember us really doing anything. I don't know what we did. Daniel Jones didn't do it. The problem too is like I, the skill position guys that we haven't figured out how to use them. And then my pause on the game after week 3 is that if you look at all the, you know, power rankings are bullshit, but you look at everybody putting out current power rankings, best
right.
teams in the league, best defenses, you're going to probably find Dallas and San Francisco
Yeah,
until Dallas had their funny fuck up against Arizona, but you're going to find that those defenses are probably in everybody's top 3. And they
yeah,
played 2 of them to start the 3 weeks of the season. I didn't expect to beat either of them. I didn't expect us to look good in any of those games. Our lines are shit, and they look like shit against the best defenses. We'll see. Seattle, I think, is a better like Giants test game. Like I knew they were gonna. They looked exactly like I think everybody thought they were going
yeah.
to. And it doesn't. I'm not gonna say I have nothing to like shit on them for because it literally was just exactly what I thought, and it was from like you said, start to finish domination, nothing else. Like it was just You
Yeah,
see who the Super Bowl contender is, and you see who absolutely isn't. Like that's
yeah,
exactly what that game was. It was like,
exactly.
this is how far behind you are from being a Super Bowl contender. Okay, yeah,
Chris
40-20 possession and getting your asses kicked.
Christian McCaffrey
There
in
you
that offense is a cheat code. An offense that has historically run the ball incredibly well,
Crazy.
even when they had the three-headed monster of Mostert, Elijah Mitchell, and whoever else back there. Like, now that they have a bona fide RB1 in Christian McCaffrey, shit is about to get dangerous for teams who play the 49ers. He had 18 carries for 85 yards and a touchdown. I mean, and that's just an easy, basic game for Christian. That's the type of thing that they expect from him week in, week out is, almost 100 yards and a touchdown. He didn't even have to do too much. Purdy threw the ball 37 times. Like you said, they were doing a lot of
Right.
dump offs, getting the ball in their skill players' hands and letting them go.
Yeah.
Debo
Yeah.
was lights out. They were playing without Brandon Ayuk, so he
Yeah.
really stepped up and he looked like the Debo of last year. So at the start of this year, Brandon Ayuk has really proved himself to be like the wide receiver one in that locker room. And with him out, Debo really stepped. I was impressed with how he played. I don't know if that's more of
Yeah.
an indictment of the Giants cornerbacks. I don't exactly know their situation, but he looked good.
They're rookies. They're two rookies.
All right. Well, he's hard
Yeah.
to tackle regardless.
Yeah. Exactly.
I know that you guys have
Right. But
struggled with the open
that's
field
what it is.
tackling, but
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
he's going to give a
Oh yeah.
lot of teams problems. He's going to give teams problems.
Right.
And then Kittle, I mean,
Right.
you have a safety blanket like Kittle who can get you yards after the catch like crazy. I mean, you have a tight end like that who can help space the field and run a
Yeah.
drag route, get you 15, 20 yards on a third down. That's a hard thing to stop. And I think a lot of teams are going to have problems with the Niners going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think another note for the Niners in how McCaffrey looks in that offense when the game started to be more comfortable for them, and you see them putting in Elijah Mitchell, and he's getting 4 yards a carry, and like you remember, it's like, oh yeah, he was pretty fucking good last
Yeah, he
year
was very
when he's
good.
healthy. Like before, I mean, he's pretty fucking good, and then you like see him in there again, you're like, oh yeah, shit, they still do have him,
Yep.
and like he's good in that offense, and it's like, so if McCaffrey goes down, you're not too probably I mean, like you're devastated if you're 49, but
Yeah.
you're like, you got a good running back there, and it's like he's in there turning out 4 yards a carry against
Yep.
our defense, and I'm like, shit, this team's deep, man. Like this team is, if they stay healthy, they're an issue.
So
But
you think that the Brock Purdy success so far is, if you had to give a percentage of credit to Brock and to Shanahan, where would you give that percentage?
I'd give it all to Shanahan. I
100
really would. Like,
100%.
yeah, like I don't know. I read so many different things about like PFF grades and all this stuff, and like who believes them and what doesn't. But like
Oh, I'll
Purdy
get
came
into
out of
Pro
that game.
Football Focus.
Yeah, yeah, but Purdy came out of that game with like a 60, like a bad grade. Like he wasn't.
Hmm.
He had a great throw. Who did he hit? What that touchdown? That was Debo, I think, at the back shoulder. That was a
Yeah,
great throw.
that was a
Great,
dime.
great throw.
That
And
was a
I'll give
dime.
that to him for sure. Like that was a great throw. But if you look at Debo had 129 yards, and quote me on this because I think I'm right. I think it was 90 yards after the catch out of the 130.
Yeah,
So
yeah, essentially.
that's like, and some of those were like he took like a 40-yard screen. McCaffrey on a third and 15,
Yeah,
30-yard screen. Like,
yeah,
McCaffrey had 34 receiving yards. I think one of that was a 25, 30-yard
yeah,
screen pass.
exactly.
So it's like he's churning out these screen pass yards. It's like I'm not saying Purdy's not good enough to like be the quarterback of this team and lead them anywhere. He
Yeah,
obviously is, but I think that system can plug and play a lot of quarterbacks that Shanahan wants to. And credit to Shanahan, he's got a guy that's going to do it. And
yeah, it's true. He
good for
finds the
them.
right
I
guy.
mean, like I'm not gonna, I'm not trying to say like, oh, Purdy,
No,
fuck
no,
this guy, he's
I
so bad. But it's like I think he's just exactly he's succeeding in the way he needs to. And congrats to him. I don't think he's like an elite quarterback by any
right.
means. And like what I was watching was like all credit goes to the skill guys. Like they were just insane. Like
Yeah,
they were making everybody miss. I don't want to take away from like the Niners by saying like, oh, the Giants are so bad. Like, oh, look at them making these tackles. The Giants defense is bad. Like those guys
no, the
are
Niners are good.
insanely good,
Yeah.
and they wrecked us. So it's like that's just kind of what it was. It was
Can this Niners team win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy at quarterback?
I think they can. Well, probably. I would say I would lean. I don't know if I'd be confident in saying yes, but
I'm not
with the
saying
NFC
will
the way it
they,
is right
but
now,
can they?
yeah, Yeah, especially with the NFC the way it is right now.
Yeah, I think they certainly could.
They can beat Dallas.
Yeah,
They can beat Philly.
yeah,
So now you're in the Super Bowl.
exactly.
You know, in the
And
NFC. Like sure. So then it's just one game off.
yes,
Like sure. Like
and
yeah.
as we know,
I'll take yes.
as you get deeper into the playoffs, coaching matters a hell of a lot more. And
Yeah.
if you have a guy who's like an offensive guru like they do, they're going to put him in positions to succeed on the biggest stage. So I do think
Yeah.
who knows what would have happened had he not got that elbow injury at the beginning of that game in the playoffs last year. I mean, they were absolutely
Don't tell
locked and
Philly
loaded.
fans that.
Well,
Philly
I
fans
don't want
want
I don't
you to
want
show
smoke
up.
with Philly fans. No, I know that
Yeah.
they think they'll win the Super Bowl no matter what. I get that, but
They're over here like, oh, you can't blame it on the fact that they had a fucking running back playing
yeah,
quarterback.
yeah,
Oh, you
no,
can't?
yeah. I
You
think that
can't?
at
You
least
can't have
plays
any
a
nuance
part
in that?
into it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want smoke with the craziest fan base in the NFL, so just chill. You guys are good. Okay,
Fuck,
we'll get
man.
to you guys in a little bit later. So that was an unfortunate way to start the NFL slate for the guys on Over the Line.
Yeah.
30-12, 49ers top the Giants. Then we move on to a little bit better news. The Browns, for our buddy AJ, they get the big win, 27-3 over the Titans. Just an absolutely dominant performance. Without Chubb, they weren't able to run the ball super well. They did spread it around. I think they had around 80 team yards. So they had, 8 or 9 different ball carriers. They were really trying to mix it up with jet sweeps and, 2 guys in the backfield and letting Deshaun try to make a couple reads. This was the best that we've seen Deshaun play as a Cleveland Brown. He looked more than a game manager. He looked pretty solid. I would give him like a C plus B minus, just teetering on a B. Just because I know what he was capable of. I'm not saying that you have to hold him to that standard forever, but with this being the best he's played for them, I think they're still looking for more. But with the defense that they have, I think Browns fans are feeling pretty fucking good after this game against Tennessee. Now, I was going back and forth with my dad about this. The 2 games that the Browns have absolutely dominated, Titans and Bengals, both games, the other team had absolutely no offensive pressure. Now, is this wholly due to the Browns' defense and the pressure that they put on their defensive line and the secondary is playing great? Or is it that these 2 offenses were just absolute duds? We've seen that the Bengals have really, really struggled to find some flow on offense. They finally got into it in the second half of their game this week, but it's still it looks really ugly. Burrow's not the same with his calf injury. The Titans they're just a field goal fest. I think they won week 1 with like 5 field goals or something. Derrick Henry had 11 carries for 20 yards. I mean, he looked like he was running in fucking mud. So I'm still a little bit unsure of how it will go when they play a good team. Bengals are good, but they're not good yet, if that makes sense. Like they are a good team. They're just not ready to be good this season yet. I don't think the Titans are a good team. I don't think the Steelers are a good team. It pains me to say that, but I think that was just an AFC North type game where we get up for it and we get the dub. So I am interested to see where this goes. I think Browns fans can be super, super happy with this performance. I think they can talk all the shit they want. They've certainly earned it after that one. Their defense looks fantastic. So that's the type of hard-nosed football that the Browns fans are looking for. Amari Cooper looked great. So, you have all these things working for you. I think Browns fans are pretty happy right now.
Yeah, I think watching that game was as Enzo's going off over there.
Sorry.
Cut that. Cut Enzo.
Cut Enzo.
Yeah, I think Watson looked the best that he had. I thought it was one of those things where going into the season they got Elijah Moore from the Jets, and I really liked that move. And then I was kind of waiting to see like going into the season it was like can Deshaun pick back up to his level? Can they involve Elijah Moore, was very good, just never got the opportunity in New York. He had 9 receptions, so they're not a lot of yards. I think he had 50 yards, but the 9 reception for him, it's like you're going to use a skill guy like that. That's good. Deshaun's hitting him. Amari Cooper, when he got open, Deshaun actually hit him. Looked good. And again, like you said, no Chubb and no real running game, but Deshaun then picked it up, looked good.
Yeah.
And they won a game pretty dominantly. Honestly, both sides of the ball. And like you said, it might have been Tennessee being kind of kind of shit on
Yeah,
both sides. But
yeah,
I do think that a good team wins the way they need to, and Cleveland dominated in both spots. So you beat
yeah,
a bad team and you dominate them on
absolutely.
both sides of the ball. That's like I'm feeling good if I'm AJ. Next 2 weeks are tough. They got Baltimore at home and then 49ers at home. And
Yeah,
so you have
that is
two
tough.
two home games though against two good teams. Um, that if you come out of that 4-1, I mean Browns fans are going to be
I,
like, and I
I
said, you know, the problem is I keep saying this to the Browns, and I feel like at some point I'm going to have to stop. I keep saying like this is the big week for the Browns. You know, see what they
right.
can, like I did it against the Steelers. Like if they can go 2-0, but again, it's like we were so conditioned to not trust this Browns team that
Yeah.
I still feel that way.
Well,
Like yeah, you're right. They played
you were right to think that before the Steelers game.
right, but the same thing with the Ravens now. It's like AFC North matchup, even
Yeah,
though it's at home. It's you know like
yeah,
if they can win that game, then all this like it's week by week with this fucking team.
yeah.
I think that defense is
I think
as
they're
good as
legit.
advertised.
Yeah,
Like that defense is insane. So it's really going to be up to. I thought Jerome Ford looked fine enough. Like I mean, there was no running game established, but like when he got the ball in his hands and he got into space, it's like, oh, this dude's
yeah.
still pretty good.
He's
Like
quick.
this
He's
this
very
dude.
quick.
I was like sitting there like this isn't good for Chubb. Like to like or not even just Chubb. It's just like the running backs. It's like seeing these running backs come in and play well and look good in their
Yeah.
own ways. I'm like, yeah, this is why these running backs are struggling to get paid
There,
because
yeah.
there's a lot of guys waiting that are pretty good, and so we'll see what they can do against the Ravens this week. But for Titans, they dominated them. That defense is awesome. Uh, is Derrick Henry? Is it happening for him?
For my
Is he
fantasy
kinda,
team, I fucking hope not.
oh, dude,
I put faith into him. Took him early. Thought he would be the Derrick Henry that he's always been, and so far, I don't know because I only watch the Titans when they play either my team or the Browns, so I have no idea whether their offensive line is that bad or what. But he had a little bit of Najee Harris in him in that game. I hate to say it, but he looked a little Najee. So
dude.
I think Titans fans are a little worried.
I would be too, man. Because here's the thing with Derrick Henry, it's like even if that line is horrible, it's the Derrick Henry that we're used to seeing. He averaged 1.8 yards per carry against the Browns, 11 carries. So not a whole lot of touches because they were down big, obviously.
Right.
But Derrick Henry getting 1.8 yards a carry is worrying to me because that dude historically is so big and so physical
Yeah.
that he falls forward for three.
Yeah,
you know? It's
right.
Like,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, where
Yes.
he's getting hit. It's like it's so if he's not powering through and getting that extra yard or two, it's like uh-oh.
That is
And I know
concerning.
the Browns defense is good, but he, that's what he thrives on. He's physical, he's
Yep.
hit, and like he falls forward for those extra yards, and there was nothing there. 20 yards, longest carry of 9. So that means 10 carries.
Yeah,
11 yards.
for Derrick Henry, that's a
bad.
very, very, very poor performance for most running backs. They would be very unhappy
Yeah.
with that. But for Tractor Cito, that's not the type of thing we're used to seeing. I had a couple other thoughts about this game. I guess I have to. You guys weren't on the last episode, but I did sort of call out Myles Garrett. I'll admit it. Pro Football Focus got under my skin. I'm fucking tired of Pro Football Focus. Did I Google where they're based and is it in Ohio? Yes. So, whatever. You take that with a grain of salt. Do they rank Myles Garrett as number 1 defensive end every single fucking week? Yeah, they sure do. I implored him to show up on the stat sheet this week, and I think he heard. I think he was listening to the podcast, and he went fucking crazy. So all respect to Myles Garrett. I do want to point out that I said he's definitely a top 3 defensive end in the league. You can make an argument either way. I'm a homer. I obviously think TJ Watt is one, but I think there's a case to be made for him, Bosa, or Parsons. You can kind of mix those 4 around however you see fit. But yeah, he really showed up, racked up sacks and tackles. He was getting followed by 2 tight ends on the line. I mean, I've never even seen anything like that where they're motioning double tight ends to help the tackle on either side. I mean, really, Myles Garrett had them shaking in their boots, and rightfully so. He was in the backfield all fucking day, quarterback pressures, quarterback hits. So yes, this is my formal apology to Browns fans and to Myles Garrett. He stepped up when he needed to, so I'll get off his back for now. Yeah. He's earned his this week number 1 on Pro Football Focus, but I'm on PFF's ass. I know what you're doing, so I'm not gonna let that slide. You put TJ Watt at like number 6, and that's just disrespectful. It's because you're based in Ohio. Let's be real. So, Browns fans are sitting pretty right now. Like you said, they got a tough game against Baltimore, but they're sitting atop the division with
Yeah.
another team who's sitting atop the division. My Pittsburgh Steelers get the win 23-18 over a dog shit Las Vegas Raiders team. I mean, we might be the most fake 2-1 of all time. The Raiders are so fucking bad. I thought they were going to be decent coming into the year. I mean, Garoppolo looks lost. He had Levi Wallace looking like lockdown, Pat Peterson, Jalen Ramsey all put together. I mean, I have never seen a quarterback make our corners look so good. Vegas defense was giving. It's so weird to say Vegas. I have to think about it every time when I'm thinking
Yeah.
about the Raiders. Kenny Pickett had a good game. He only had 16 completions, but he had 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. Finally got a little bit of the ball moving on offense. Najee did have 65 yards, but I got to be honest, it was an ugly 65. He got a couple chunk plays. His long was only 17, but he had a couple of those that got us some good. He was getting stopped in the backfield once again, not finding his holes. At a certain point, we're going to have to start splitting carries with Jalen Warren. I know Jalen's catching the ball out of the backfield, and that's kind of the plan we have for him right now, but the Najee experiment is coming to an end. I know Steelers fans don't want to admit it, but it is. We do have a bright side, though, and that bright side is George Pickens, because we can supplement the run game with just running slants and drag routes with George Pickens, which is pretty much what we did all over Vegas. I mean, everything that was thrown to Pickens was just a slant or a drag, give him the ball and let him go yards after the catch. I was super happy with how he played. Kenny was making the right reads. Big bomb to Calvin Austin early in the game. That was absolutely huge. That was the best throw of Kenny Pickett's career. I mean, it was a fucking
That dude
dot.
can move.
Oh my God, he's so fast. People forget about him. He is so fast. So it was good to see him get involved into the offense. Matt Canada's job is safe for another week. Finally got Pat Freiermuth a touchdown. I said last week that I wanted to get Freiermuth more involved. He only had 3 catches, but he was targeted a few times. Got the ball. He had 40 or so yards and a touchdown. That's going to be a recipe for success for us. Pickens needs the ball. Freiermuth needs the ball. Jalen Warren needs the ball. And our defense needs to continue to play at the level that they've been playing at. TJ Watt is fucking lights out. I mean, I know that offenses are just having to game plan around elite defensive ends like that. So really, when you come into a game against a TJ Watt, a Myles Garrett, a Bosa, a Micah Parsons, you get your whole game plan changes, unless you're a team like San Francisco where you just do whatever you want, or a team like Miami where you just do whatever you want. But I mean, for us regular teams, you got a game plan for guys like that. So I was super happy with this win. Once again, is it a quality win? Not exactly. We almost blew it at the end. I was never worried that it was going to come down to it. I knew we were going to end up winning that game. I put money on us. I knew we were going to win it. But in modern Steelers fashion, we let them back into the game and made it close. Gave us a little bit of a heart rate. So I was pleased. We held Josh Jacobs to only 62 yards on the ground. Very happy with that. So what did you think about this game?
Yeah, I'll say it for you because you kind of bounced around it just a little bit. Jalen Warren is the guy. It's extremely clear to me as a neutral that watches that team. I will say it all fucking year, and I will say it until it happens. That dude needs the ball more. I actually think Najee can be fine in a lesser role. I think what he is and what he needs, but I think that they need to commit to Jalen Warren. That dude just looks like the better running back, and it's just like an eye test thing for me. It's like when I see him out there, I just like the way I'm like, that dude needs the ball. And that's all I'll say. I think that dude needs to get more touches somehow, some way.
His explosiveness,
kind of do that. Yeah, it's the big playability there, and he just I don't know. It's just like it's not a sexy way to say it, but he just looks better to me.
He does.
He just looks like a better player.
No, we can all see it.
I think Najee can really succeed in that. Put him in there when you need a short yardage or so, or put him in situations and he can still succeed. But this 20 carries a game, he's just not doing anything with it, and it's frustrating probably for you guys to watch because you want Najee to be this guy that he was drafted to be, and what he looked like his rookie year and coming out of Bama, but it's he just doesn't look like it's happening.
No, it's a real struggle for him. They
Yeah, I
looked
thought
all
Pickett
right.
looked okay too.
Yeah.
He did everything he needed to in a game that honestly you guys had kind of in control for most of it until that very end. So I don't think Kenny really needed to do a whole lot towards the end,
No.
and then somehow the Raiders just. I will say with the Raiders, it turned into find Devontae Adams mode like
Fuck,
very
man.
quickly. It was just like, where's
Fuck.
he at, and throw the ball at him.
He's
Like it's
so
all that
good.
offense was. Yeah, but that's all it was. Like
I
at
know.
one point, I
It
was just
worked,
like,
though.
Jimmy G
It
is. Yeah,
worked.
no, it did.
Yeah, it worked.
Don't forget about Devontae fucking Adams. Almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 20 targets. But it's like that's when you know a team is like reeling. Like that Jimmy
Yeah.
G, deer in the headlights.
Fuck
God bless that guy.
it. Fuck it.
But it
Devontae's
was
down there
fucking
somewhere.
where's
Yeah.
Devontae? Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's not even down there. It's like, where is he? Is he 5 yards off the line of
Yeah.
scrimmage on a like,
Get it
pick
to
him.
him.
Like, and
Yeah.
he just like get the ball to him.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs again, like they were behind, so like bad game script for him. But he looks like a dude. There was stats going into the year that was like talking about people, guys with over 300 touches going into the next year and really struggling as running backs, and it's like there was listed like 4 or 5 of them. And they really struggled that following year. And Josh Jacobs looks like he got 300 plus touches last year. Like the dude just kind of looks tired. Like
he really does.
Not run, he looks a little tired. They look a little. They just that whole offense is lethargic. I don't really have much else because I think like you said that game was just like Jimmy G just didn't. He looked lost.
Yeah.
TJ Watt was all over the place. They just really couldn't do much except get the ball to Devontae, and that's what I felt like I was watching.
Yeah.
Like, hey, and I got Devontae on one of my fantasy teams. I was happy. I was like, keep peppering him with those targets.
Yeah.
I'll take all of the 13 receptions is just fantastic.
Unreal.
In a game that just great. Just 13 free fucking points.
That's unreal.
Jimmy G can't find anybody else. But yeah, it was pretty easy win for them in the end. I thought, even though it got close, but like you said, Raiders are dog shit.
My Jimmy G prediction looks worse by the day. I mean, when I said, does this Jets team contend for a Super Bowl with Jimmy G, I am almost ready to retract that statement. We're going to see how the rest of this – it's still early, so I'm not going to bail on it just yet. But he looks so average and just – it's almost like a Jameis Winston type thing where he can throw for almost 400 yards, and once again, 200 of it's going to be to Devontae, but he's going to throw 2 or 3 picks, and it's like he's shooting himself in the foot. He made our secondary look absolutely elite. So if he's going to continue to turn the ball over like that, Vegas has no chance at being good. We won that game because they turned the ball over so much. I mean, we were able to get the ball in their territory or near the 50, and then Kenny has to do less work. We were able to just kind of get the ball in our skilled players' hands and let them do their thing, like Pickens and Austin. So I think this game was more so about the Raiders than it was us. But hey, we got the win. I can't be mad about it. We are sitting atop the AFC North with the Cleveland Browns. So who would have thought that going into Week 4 it would have been Steelers and Browns on top, Bengals at the basement, and the Ravens right behind. So the AFC North is a lot different than people expected coming into this year. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch and see how that plays out as the year goes on. So the Browns do have the Ravens this week, so that will tell a lot for this division's future. So let's just touch on a few of the other notable games from around the league. We had almost the scoring record in Miami. What a great time to be a Dolphins fan. If you're a Dolphins fan, you got to be like, I have waited for this moment for so long. It's finally back. I have something to cheer for again. You must be on top of the moon if you're a Miami fan right now. I know it was against Denver, but why not run up the score? Against bad teams, fuck it. Show that you're capable of doing that. Tua looks like possibly the most accurate quarterback in the league. I know that's kind of like the thing about him, but it's real. When you watch him, you're like, man, he has pinpoint precision with his ball placement, and he has guys who can make shit happen after the catch. Tyreek Hill, absolutely unstoppable. He's too fast. I think he is literally too fast. They have to somehow nerf Tyreek Hill because it's not fair to the rest of the league. And then when you mix in the fact that now they have Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert, who both run 4 flats, I mean, it's just this team is so speedy and skillful. And then you mix in a guy with absolutely elite play calling like Mike McDaniel, and you have a 70-point game. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I never thought that I would see this in my lifetime, like a 70 pointer. These are Madden type stats. I know everybody said it over and over, but I mean, A-Chain had 203 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. Unreal performance from Miami's backfield. Just
Yeah.
all around impressive from Miami. Broncos stink. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was one of those things where you clearly see that this Miami team is built to win the Super Bowl, and I will say it week 3 after I'm like holding back other takes. This team, in my mind, should be the AFC favorite, and it's not even really close right now. Like through
Mmm.
3 weeks, this is the Super Bowl favorite. That offense is insane. Uh, Tua, for all the people that were hating on Tua and questioning Tua, it's not even just the accuracy; it's the decision making. It is quick.
Yep.
It is find my guy. There was no Jalen Waddle on that game,
Can you
and
believe
he
that?
put up 70 points. And it's not, and that's not something where it's like, oh, maybe Jalen Waddle. Like nobody's sitting here just like they don't even need him. They're like, fuck, they have Jalen
Yeah,
Waddle. It's a
exactly.
move. So it's like one of those things where it's that team is they've got more reinforcements coming. Waddle's back this week. The 2 running backs look great. Mike McDaniels is scheming up some shit that is just like you're not. The guys are so bought in and just doing whatever he
Yep.
says that it's just like this team. They look so well coached. That offense is incredible. The defense is good too, but the way Tua is playing and with those skill guys, like you said, they're so fast. All of them.
So fast.
I saw they have 5 guys, or they have 4 guys that have run the 5 fastest times in NFL history.
Unreal. Unreal.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
What the hell are you
it's
gonna do? And it's not like they're just like only. It's not like they're just track runners that they can't make moves. Like they're genuinely good football players too, and they built this
absolutely.
offensive scheme around it that is terrifying. If I'm a Miami fan, I'm on cloud 9, like you said. That they are my Super Bowl favorite right now. That is insane. This Buffalo game is gonna be fun to watch. I know we're gonna preview them later. I will just go ahead and say I think Miami's gonna win handily. I don't.
Really
I think people.
handedly.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Uh,
that this is a far and away better team. The way Josh Allen looked, I think this Miami team is just so good, man. That's kind of my takeaway is that like yeah, Denver sucks, but this
yeah,
Miami team is legit.
yeah,
It's I don't even it's kind of maybe a lazy thing to see a team score 70 and just come out and be like the best team in the league, but it's like that's fucking insane. Like you
yeah.
said, Madden numbers. It's like a college game. I mean, it's like
Truly.
watching a Big Ten team play an FCS school.
Yeah.
It's just it was ridiculous, and I really wish they would have fucking kicked that field goal.
I know, I know.
I
But
wanted them to kick it so bad.
it's like
Just do it.
I understand both schools of thought there. As a fan, you want to see it. Of course, you want to see the record be broken.
Kick it.
They actually, I think they had one turnover on downs and one punt. So there was a possibility that they could have scored earlier in the game as well, and this been like they could have broken the record by 4 points or whatever had they scored a touchdown. It's hard not to like Miami. I mean, I know that they're going to be tough for
I
a lot
agree.
of us, down the road. But I mean, they got a stoner coach. They got fast guys. They got fast motion before
Yep.
the snap. It's all cool shit that you're like, man, this is cool modern day NFL type shit.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for Miami fans. I know it's been a long time coming. It's always cool to have a new, like, flashy team in the mix, and I think
Yep.
that people are gonna have their hands full playing Miami going forward. So they get the big win, 70-20 over the Broncos. That was huge. One other game I wanted to touch on. Your Vikings dropped 28-24 against the Chargers. Kirk
Huge.
Cousins leading the league in passing, Justin Jefferson leading the league in receiving, and they cannot win a game. They are losing by one score. This is exactly what we talked about in our
I
season
said it.
preview episode.
Yeah. Every game is one fucking score, and it's hilarious, dude. It's the same thing. They have, like you said, they lead in those. Kirk is hitting JJ as much as he needs to.
Yep.
Hawkinson looks good.
It looks
Madison
great.
Madison looked extremely average again, and like lucky that he was that fumble got called back
Yeah.
on the forward progress because like he almost did again, and like they've got they just who did they just trade for? Cam Akers. So
Yeah, Cam
they
Akers.
recognized that and they brought in some reinforcement. We'll see what comes of that. But it's literally like this team could be 3-0. That Eagles game, I know it was one possession, but that was farther away than it needed to be. They could be 2-1 easily.
Yes.
Chargers
Yes.
do the Brandon Staley bullshit again, where you go for it.
Oh my God.
There's sometimes like I'm a big analytics dude.
Yeah.
Punt the fucking ball.
Punt
there.
the ball.
Like,
Absolutely punt the ball.
Like punt it. I don't give a shit what the stats say. I don't care what analytics say there. It drives me nuts with the Yankees sometimes in baseball. They go so by the fucking analytics sometimes where it's like, just, you know what? And sometimes just make the decision.
Yeah. Have some game sense.
There's a reason that there is another part of that equation that says that it's like 48%. It's like, go with the 48% every now and then.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Like, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
No, it was crazy.
It's a poor decision.
And then, it was crazy to see. It was crazy to see Minnesota get the ball back there and just be like, this is it. They either going to win or lose by one position again, because that's what it solidified. And perpetually, that's what this team is going to be. Last year, we mentioned in the season preview they had a negative point differential, but we're 12-5.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah.
So this is what you're seeing. It's the same exact team. I really don't know if it's. I was wondering if Dalvin Cook was the difference, kind of thing, in one of the other episodes. It's just not. It's the same exact team. They're a one-score team, and they're gonna. Man, I think I said last time I was on. I think I said maybe 500. They might go 5-12 now, but lose every game. All the 12, it's going to be so close. I don't have no idea. They could come back and go 12-5 and win them all by one score.
Yeah, they could.
The offense is good. They have all the weapons there.
Yeah.
It's like the anti. I don't know. It's kind of like. I don't know. I can't think of any good example because it's just the offensive weapons are there. Kirk is doing his job on the offense. If they can establish a running game, if Madison can look better, but the defense is going to bend and break.
Yeah. The defense is not good. The defense is not good.
And the offense is going to do what they can.
Yeah.
And they're going to just keep being this fucking hilarious, memeable team that loses or wins by one score, and Justin Jefferson has 300 yards and 7 touchdowns a game. Like, it's like, that's just what they're going to do.
For us Justin Jefferson fantasy managers, you'll take it. You'll take Kirk throwing the ball 50 times. He had 50 pass attempts. 30 of those targets were thrown at Jettas, as they should be. Hawkinson, he looks elite. I think right now he is number 2 in all of tight end fantasy stats, so he does look very, very good. I had a fantasy factor fiction about the Miami game I forgot to bring up. So fantasy factor fiction, Devon Achane is a must start in all fantasy formats.
Yeah, I'm starting him.
Really? You're going fact?
Yeah, fact. Because I would like to hear who else you have. Like, because on your roster, I'd assume if he's drafted on your team, he's already your flex, maybe, or going in, he was maybe your flex.
So I didn't have A-Chain prior, so I had the waiver priority. I was able to get A-Chain. Yeah. I already had Mostert, who is number 1 in fantasy running back points, and I hadn't started him yet. Yeah.
I've been starting him every week.
I hadn't started him yet. No, I mean, I've had poor decision making. I am undefeated, but I've gotten the underachiever award in each week because I have left so many points on the bench. And now I'm kind of in a weird spot of is A-Chain
having them both.
Most, I don't know if it's, Derrick Henry, I'm moving him to the bench this week. So I think right now it's like, because I have Kenneth Walker, so it's hard for me to take Kenneth Walker out because he's a solid 18 points. So it's A-Chain, Mostert.
I think you start both of them because you don't want to pick the wrong one and have them on the bench, and you're probably going to get at least 30 points from the two of them, whether it's from one or it's from both. You're going to get. I think because they're the two guys, so it's like until they don't combine for 60 points, I'm starting them. Buffalo's a tough matchup for it, though, but I don't know how you pick between them. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem.
Either you start them both or you flip your coin and be pissed if you get the wrong one, but one of them's going to go fucking off.
So
I don't know if you risk missing out on
I think that's a fair point. We'll take it off of me specifically, and we'll just speak generally. Yeah. So you're going to go fact, A-Chain is a start in all fantasy formats.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only way it's a tough decision is if you do have Mostert.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Welcome to my world.
If you have Mostert, good luck because that's a tough decision. If you don't, start at that 100%.
I got one more on Miami. Factor fiction: Tua will finish at QB1 in fantasy stats.
I'll say fiction because of rushing stats for other quarterbacks that'll probably boost them up a little bit.
That was my
He
point as
can
well.
run, but I passing stats, he's got a damn good chance. But those rushing stats for the quarterbacks
And
are
then
boosting.
you got
We'll
guys
see.
like Kirk and Herbert who kind of equal out the
Yeah,
passing stats. Although
yeah,
Miami's putting up historic numbers and points,
yeah.
it doesn't exactly translate to Tua's fantasy points.
No,
He's
no.
extremely solid, extremely solid, and he's a top 5
Yeah,
fantasy quarterback option, no doubt about it. But I'm also going to go fiction. I don't think he finishes at quarterback 1 in stats, which he is currently sitting at right now. So
yeah.
that's kind of
No,
what
I
prompted that question. So, all right.
I agree.
So let's move on to a game that I'm sure you were delighted to see the result of. Arizona 28, Dallas 16. A huge upset over the quote unquote best team in football that they were already the uncrowned champs from many of the media corporations. I know that Skip Bayless was already banging his hand on the table about how about them Cowboys. So this had to be extremely pleasing for you to see a Josh Dobbs led Arizona team
Yeah,
get the win against Dallas. Your thoughts?
yeah. I felt very validated about a lot of the because I actually the episode I missed was the opportunity to talk about Daniel Jones' comeback. I believe.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all I heard that week from fucking Dallas fans and Philly fans and honestly just most fans in general was, oh, but that comeback was against the worst team in football. Okay, it's still the fucking NFL,
Yep.
and Dak couldn't do it. Pollard didn't pull it off. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
We're gonna discount. We're gonna discredit the Giants for making that comeback. 21 point comeback in the second half, and then you're gonna watch Dallas go in there. They let up 28 to the Cardinals. We let up 28 to the
Yeah.
Cardinals. We won. Okay, we don't credit the Giants for it. Now
I
can we a
like
little
it.
bit? Like everybody,
I
fuck
like
off.
it. I gave you guys
Fuck
credit.
off.
You didn't
Daniel
hear it,
Jones
but I
still
gave
go
you
in
guys
there.
credit.
Yeah, good. I
I
mean,
liked it.
that's what I'm saying though. It's like it's the NFL. Every game is going to be difficult. I don't care if they're the worst team in football. That was a great. I'm making it about the Giants, but it was a great comeback by them, and you see why it was because it's tough to come back in that league when you put yourself in a hole. And Dallas did. Fuck them.
Yep. I agree.
To be
Fuck them.
very clear.
I think most
Fuck them.
people who watch this show can agree. Fuck the Cowboys.
And I wish AJ was on because AJ has been very sticking to his guns on the take of why should we trust Dallas? They are what they are. They always will be. They're Dallas. And
Probably his best
AJ
take
for that.
yet. Probably
Yeah,
his best
I
take
love
yet.
him for that. He is right. They are fucking Dallas. Why would we trust them? Who gives a shit? Fuck them.
I agree. And Dak looked like Dak. I mean, just stupid turnover. It's just the Cowboys' defense is good, yes, but now
Yeah.
are we like? I think we have to take a step back at the very least because they gave up like 160 or so yards on the ground. I think even more. They gave up like 200 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
They let James Conner rush for 100 yards. I don't know the last time that he's rushed for 100 yards on a team in only 12 or 14 carries or something. Like a really efficient day on the ground for him. Josh Dobbs didn't have to do too much because they were so efficient with the run. I'm happy for Dobbs, former Steeler, so it's nice to see him get some shot. Now there's already talk in Arizona of is he going to remain the quarterback when Kyler's healthy to play again? It's like, wow, we've already gotten to this point to where now they're talking
Pump the
about
brakes.
is Kyler the guy? It's like he had fucking 17
brakes.
completions for 180 yards, and all of a sudden you're going to fucking give him the team.
Pump
I don't
the
know
brakes.
about that. I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of strife, if you will, between Kyler Murray and the organization right
Yeah.
now. I don't know all the details because who gives a fuck about what's going on to the Arizona Cardinals?
Great take.
Literally no one. The only reason we're even talking about this game is because the Cowboys lost, and that's awesome for your Giants.
It's great.
Yeah,
It's a good one to watch. It was just so validating, man. It was just like the best fucking game. I'm like, I don't give a shit what happened week 1. I don't give a shit.
And the whole
You
league can
lost
kind of
Arizona away.
take
So
enjoyment
fuck
in
you.
the Cowboys getting their comeuppance.
My last take on that game, the Cardinals' biggest mistake in tanking this year, they did everything they could. They forgot they had James Conner. He's
True.
actually a good running back.
True.
Shit.
Yeah, true.
Dude's a dog.
Oh, oh,
Like that's their biggest mistake. They
you bring
still
up.
have it. They got to get rid of him.
I
He's too
forget.
good. He's a good running back.
Lest
He's
we
very
forget
solid.
that he was a Steeler, and we
Yeah.
got rid of him to make room for Najee.
No.
What are Steelers fans thinking right now as you see James Conner been flourishing
Dude,
the
he's
last
got like
couple
the best
years?
yards per carry in the league
He has a nose
over the
for
last
the
few
end
years.
zone, which is something that Najee
Yeah.
does not have. I
Yeah.
hate to. I already said my piece on him. I won't keep going in on you, Najee. I know you're listening. Big fan of the show. So Cardinals get the win, 28-16. That is our Week 3 NFL recap. So now we are going to do our. Actually, before we get to our picks, just real quick, have a question for you. Out of the 3 undefeated teams, Miami, San Francisco, and Philly, I think I know the answer because you touched on this earlier.
Yeah.
Which team do you think
Yeah.
is the best?
Yeah, I think it's Miami, and it's not even close. I really do like San Francisco. I obviously hate Philadelphia. I do think Philadelphia is a little suspect and beatable. I think last year the touchdown efficiency was insane. I think I said it before earlier week. That touchdown efficiency just can't sustain. And you're seeing it's not Jake Elliott is kicking the shit out of the ball. He's a good kicker, so they're still getting points.
Yeah.
But he's kicking way more field goals already than he did last year because that efficiency is down. And so they're a little bit more vulnerable to you saw the Vikings come back on them because they're not
Yeah.
last year that Vikings game would have been a blowout. Philly would have ran away with it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But they didn't punch it in enough and it became a closer game. Miami is yet to show that. That team is doing what Philly did last year where everyone's like this team is and that's so for now it's Miami far and away. That team is just blowing teams out.
And not to be
Same with San Francisco.
Yeah.
San Francisco's, like I said, we played the Giants and your Steelers. It's like, keep doing it, but congrats.
Yeah. And not to be a contrarian, but I think just because of how the defense is playing as well, obviously they haven't had the same sort of tests yet. I'm going to go San Francisco as 1 in my power rankings right now, Miami 2, Philly as a suspect 3. I think 1 and 2 are pretty interchangeable, and I'm just giving the edge to San Francisco because of their defense. Out of the 0-3 teams, which team do we think has the best chance to turn it around? So we have Carolina, Minnesota, Chicago, and Denver. Oh, boy. I think there's only one answer here.
Yeah, it's got to be Vikings.
It's
right?
Minnesota.
Like, is there even anything else? It's like that team is – it's
the rest of
such a
those
different
teams
team
might
than
not
those
win
other
a game.
three.
The rest of those teams
such a
might not win a game.
different
Unless they play each other, then the rest of those teams might go winless. I mean, those are really – actually, you know what? I'll give the
Minnesota and
Panthers
Chicago get each other twice.
Yeah, I say Vikings, Panthers, Broncos, Bears.
It's disgusting.
Isn't that disgusting?
Is Carolina being third worst? I don't know if I have like a hard disagreement, but that's a disgusting. The fact that they're not worse than those other teams because they became the last 2 weeks. Fuck it, we're stealing. So.
I know.
Good for Bryce Young though, finding his back. I will say, good for the rookie. He recognizes, hey, this get it.
Hey, get it to the vet.
Yeah, that's bad though.
Yeah.
That's
so
bad. The
if
Vikings being grouped in with those teams is just fun.
Exactly.
They do deserve to be, but they just seem. There's a feeling there that is so fucking different.
When I was looking at the standings and I was thinking about out of those defeated teams, which team had the best chance, I'm like, wow, it's crazy to think about a year ago to see where the Vikings are now. I know it's early in the season. It's not exactly panic time yet, but they do need to light a fire under their fucking ass. They need to get going.
Yeah, they do.
All right, so that is the Week 3 preview. So let's get into our Week 4 picks. We're just going to kind of rapid fire through these. So let's start with Falcons-Jaguars. Jaguars are favored by 3 in London. Who you got?
Yeah, I hate that it's in London because I feel like it changes things a little bit. However, Jacksonville is obviously becoming like a London home team anyways. They're getting comfy playing over there. I'll take the Jaguars, and I think they do cover.
Yeah,
3.
I'm gonna take Jaguars by 3 as well. I think they bounced back after that loss last week. So I think Jaguars by 3. So then we're gonna move on. We got Miami at Buffalo. Buffalo favored by 2.5. I have a feeling I know which way you're going to go with this. The money line is plus 130 on the Dolphins. What's your pick here?
Yeah, I think it's unbelievable to give that Miami team any points. I'll probably just take the 2.5 as like a fuck you to just get. Yeah, sure, I'll take 2 extra points from them. Like that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Sure. You're gonna give me 2 points? I'll take two extra ones. So I'm going Miami there. I think I said earlier. I think they win pretty handedly until
Um,
proven otherwise. I'm with them.
for all of you D-Gens following along at home, I'm going to go ahead and take the money line at plus 130. I think Chris has convinced me that Miami's going to come in and this is going to be a whomping for Miami. So hammer that
Yep,
fucking money line, Miami plus 130. So
I
then
love it.
we got
I love it.
Vikings at Panthers. Vikings favored by 4.5 at the Panthers. I like that they're
That is
keeping the spread within one score. Smart.
that is so fucking gross. I
The battle of the
well,
defeateds.
yeah, I'm gonna take Minnesota, but not to cover. I'm gonna take Minnesota, but not to cover.
Minnesota money
I
line.
would, yeah. So I would, no. I'll actually, so I'll say I'll go. I would take the point of the Panthers. I'd probably go plus 4.5 Panthers.
You know what? I'm going plus 4.5 Panthers as well.
Thielen revenge game.
Thielen revenge game.
And he's
So
on a fucking tear right now. That's
we
disgusting.
I know I feel ashamed. I'm just gonna move on. Panthers plus
Yeah,
four
that
and a half.
sucks.
Yeah, I hate
That's
the fact that I had. I just pointed out that if these teams play each other, then they'll get a win. Well, we just had
yeah.
the 0-3 team and then another 0-3 team. We got Broncos Bears, and the Broncos are favored by 3 in Chicago. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'll take the points with Chicago just because it's two awful teams. Bears at home. I'll take the home points and vomit doing so. That sucks also.
Yeah,
But I'll take the Bears at home. That's stupid.
this may
That's all
come.
stupid.
Yeah, this may even be worse than what you said. I'm gonna take
How the
Bears.
fuck do the Broncos have more than a field goal? Wait a second. Like, what are we doing?
I don't
They
know.
just lost 70-20. And we're gonna give them 3.5.
This is even worse because I'm taking Bears money line at plus 145. I think the
Fuck.
Bears get a fucking win. I think Big Cat from Barstool
Hate
finally gets a
Vegas,
smile
man.
on his face. Take Bears plus 145. Then we have probably the best game in the 1 o'clock slate. We have Baltimore at Cleveland. Cleveland favored by 2.
Yeah, this is gross. I'd probably AFC North games are always tight. I two is probably about right. I will take Cleveland until at home. I'll take them. Put my faith in them for whatever reason. That's close though. I'm not confident in that one, but I'll go Cleveland
Yeah,
to
I
cover.
am.
I would take the two.
I've teetered. I've teetered on this game back and forth, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Cleveland too as well. I don't like it. I don't like it because I think this is
Gross.
a very tough game, and the Ravens very well could win. That money line is tempting for the Ravens, but I'm gonna
I want to be very
stick with it.
Yeah, I want to be very clear. AFC North is my least favorite division by far to bet. I fucking
Yeah,
can't stand it. So,
I agree.
that division just pisses me off. I hate betting it. I'm
Yeah.
always wrong. So, with that said, hammer the Browns.
Yeah, it doesn't fit well with my betting strategy where I bet on blowout games, player props, and I bet heavy on minimal player props. That's been my
Yeah.
strategy. I'm up over 600 in the past 2 weeks. So hey, what do we know? But hey, if you want to follow along with this is not what do they say when it's this is not bet gambling advice, gamble responsibly, all that bullshit. But also fucking hammer it and follow us. So
Yep.
then we got Steelers at Texans. Steelers favored by 2.5. Ooh, I'll go first here. This
You go.
feels this feels like a trap game. I'm not gonna lie to you. Stroud's playing great. Their offense is clicking. Our offense is not. It's in Houston. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna preface with I think we win this game, but I'm gonna take Texans points plus 2.5. I think it's gonna
Yeah,
be.
I'll take Texans points as well. I think Stroud looked good enough. Just don't. And the Steelers, I don't trust them running this Najee led backfield yet, and
Yeah.
I think that is why I'm still. As soon as they go to Jalen, I'd trust them more here, but I just don't. Damian Pierce should be able to run the ball a little bit better than he has, just a little bit. Um, I'll take the points, but I can see Pittsburgh
Yeah.
squeaking out like a 1 or 2 point win. That's gonna be a close game, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Then we have Rams at Colts, which is the weirdest line of the week. The points are 0. It is a
Yeah,
straight up pick 'em across the board.
yeah,
Minus 110 for both teams. What are your thoughts here?
yeah.
Anthony Richardson starting?
I Yeah, he's back. I do. I like the Colts here at home. I like their defense, and I like this Anthony Richardson kind of experiment thing they're going with here. This
Yeah.
this this like letting him kind of just do his thing. Um, so I like it. I like them at home. That Rams team just uninspiring. So I just don't trust them. Coming West Coast to East Coast, I don't trust it. They're very that game last week against the Bengals made me very uneasy about
Yeah.
them going forward. They just
Which is
look
fair.
boring.
Yeah.
Those first couple of weeks with Nakua were great, but like all of a sudden he didn't like they couldn't find him again all of a sudden. And it's just like now you're seeing it's like where's Cooper Cup?
Yep.
Where's and that kid's good and they will find him and he'll have big games again, but like I just don't.
Andy got me with the backdoor cover, so shout out Puka Nakua. I'm going to
Yeah.
go with Colts as well at home. So hammer that money line. We're both on the Colts there. Then we got Buccaneers at Saints. Saints favored by minus 3.5. Jameis Winston starting. I'll go first here. I'm going to straight up take Buccaneers money line at plus 155.
Wow. I will take the 3.5 with the Buccaneers. I wish this was a 3-point spread because I like the Saints, but I will take the hook.
Fair.
I'll go Buccaneers with the 3.5 points. I do like Saints to win. God, I feel like I'm picking all these games to win by 1 or 2 points, but
Oh, the spreads are close.
these are tough, man. Yeah, I'll go. I'll go Saints there, or Buccaneers there, but
Yeah,
Saints too.
Buccaneers 3.5. All right, then we got Commies at Eagles. Eagles are favored by 9. I'm gonna take Commanders plus 9.
I like it. I want everyone to listen very closely to everything I just had a list there. It's not like a list.
Listen very closely.
Yeah, I'll listen very closely.
Listen very closely.
Everything I've said over the past podcast talking about the suspect Eagles and everything. Eagles minus 9. Take it.
Okay, fair. We got Bengals at
Sam
Titans.
Hollis. Yeah.
Bengals favored by 2.5.
Yeah.
I'm taking Bengals 2.5.
Yeah, this is the game where if Burrow does not figure it out with this Titans secondary, then I'm a Bengals fan and I'm not very happy, and I'm starting to really feel heat. Like I'm already feeling heat, but if Burrow doesn't hook against this Titans,
Completely
that
agree.
secondary is pretty bad.
Completely agree.
So I'm starting in all leagues. I have one league. I have Higgins. I also have Boyd. This is a Boyd start week for me.
Ooh.
I even think that like it gets big enough down there where like it has to be. It's got to be.
I like
Burrow's
it.
cooking. He's hitting his guys. So I got Bengals big. I think I love the 2.5.
Yeah, I think Bengals blow them out as well. So we're both on the Bengals there. For those of you following along at home, maybe put together a little parlay on the ones that we agree on. Who knows? Then we got Raiders at Chargers. Chargers favored by 4.5. I'm gonna take the 4.5 points with the Chargers too.
I am too. I fucking wish Eckler was playing because that 4.5 is weird.
I know.
Kelly's not looking
Very
anything
weird.
special. But the Chargers are a better team. They're at home. That Raiders team looks like dog shit. I'll take the 4.5 and kind of turn a blind eye and hope it hits.
Yep. Now, this is one of my favorite lines of the week. We have Patriots at Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 6.5. Give me the Patriots plus 6.5.
Yeah, this pains me. I will take Dallas with a bounce back spot. I just don't trust Mac Jones at all to go into Dallas against that defense. I think this is more about Dallas defense for me than it is Patriots. I think them at home, bounce back game for that defense, and they squeak one out. I'll go Dallas. It's fucking that makes me.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a field goal game, which is why I think Patriots plus 6.5 is very fair.
Yeah, I can see it.
Then the biggest line of the week, we have Cardinals at Niners. Niners by 14. Chris?
Wow, 14
Yeah,
is
I
a
know. Like
big
I've
spread.
that makes me real nervous.
That's an insane spread. I This is one of those where I just take the 14 with the Cardinals just because it's so big. I just that's what I would do. I'm not touching this,
Me either. No, me either.
but I'll pick them to cover 14, and that's at the big spread. I just that sucks.
This is the one game where I would tell you not to tail us. I'm going Cardinals plus 14 as well.
That
And the
sucks.
49ers will probably win by 40. So just please
Right. That's
don't
the
tail
thing.
us.
It's like
Don't tail us.
they very easily could. It's just like even as much as they dominated the Giants, it was 18, and the Giants could have punched one in and made that 11, and
Yeah.
it's like you wouldn't have been surprised. Like that sucks.
Then we have the Taylor Swift game, the Sunday night
Ooh.
game, Chiefs at Jets. Um, I mean, if Taylor's there, yeah, give me Chiefs minus 8.5.
Yep, me too. 8.5 there.
Jets stink.
Zach Zach Wilson. Honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this. Starting to feel bad for the dude a little bit. The New York
I
media is
feel
becoming
real bad for him.
like I like joking on the dude and everything. He's starting to get the New York media treatment that just fucking
It's like
sucks, dude.
borderline depressing.
Dude, it's horrible.
He looks
Just
his
Joe
eyes
Janice,
like
come on.
he looks defeated.
Like,
Yeah, you got
dude,
Namath coming at your throat.
let the guy just
Pause.
he's obviously not good enough to be the second overall pick.
No,
Let him be.
no,
He didn't
yeah.
ask to go second overall.
No.
And usually it's fun to make fun
But
of
he
those dudes,
did.
but good God, he's
Yeah.
just bad. Like
Yeah.
he's bad. He's dead. He's trying. He's just not good.
I
He's
don't
just not good. Leave him alone.
Yeah, I don't want to pile on, but I think we're gonna see Trevor Siemian at some point in that game. Then we have the last game, possibly the most important game for one of us here. We have the Monday night game, 8:15, Seahawks at Giants. The spread is 1. Give me the Giants money line plus 100.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Giants.
Yeah, I'm going Giants here too. Don't sleep on what people are calling the Geno Smith revenge tour game, which is, if you remember, he started one game for the New York Giants. And do you remember the significance of it?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that was the game that he got put in there that broke Eli's start streak for no reason.
Oh,
And then Eli came back and started the next week.
okay. Yeah.
So
I do remember now.
that is his legacy as a Giant, was starting
Revenge
one game,
game.
breaking Eli's start streak. Yeah. So now he's got
It's
a
a
revenge
revenge
game.
game.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
So we're taking the Giants.
He sucked for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Giants for sure. I respect Gino. I actually root for him a lot, but this week I am full fuck Gino for
Yeah.
breaking Eli's streak. So fuck him.
My Seahawks have
We
bounced
need a
back.
big game from. Yeah, it's a good game. This is that game where I'm like, now the Giants finally, you'll see a Giants game.
Yeah. I think this is
The other
finally
games
going to
you
be
saw-
a competitive
you saw a
game.
49ers game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw a 49ers game. You saw a Cowboys game. You saw Giants against the worst team in the league. Now you get a Giants-Seahawks game that should actually be good
Yeah, I
in a
agree.
really shitty way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, it's going to suck to watch, but it'll be a good game. We're all going to watch it. Yeah.
Enjoy yet again. And if you thought this was the last primetime Giants game, you're wrong. They get the Bills in primetime.
Yeah, and in typical primetime fashion, I'm going to put way too much money on it, stress through the entire game, and then hopefully backdoor cover. So shout out to the New York Football Giants. Hopefully they get us the victory. This has been episode 4 of Over the Line. Thank you for joining us. Next week we should have the whole crew back in action. We'll hope to get that podcast out a little earlier in the week for you guys. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that bullshit. We'll see you next week.